Okay, so for today's live stream, I'm going to I'll start off by reviewing some of the changes I made in anticipation of refactoring the UI for the block mining simulation game. And then I'm going to do some play testing to make sure it still works. So the changes I made were I renamed one of my classes, one of the key classes involved in the other thread I had. It was called the it's like the text with measurement thread state. I'm going to change that into the console writing thread. So basically there's going to be one thread that its entire function is writing to the console, and it's going to process console writer work items. So one of which is the feature I talked about before with measuring the width of characters, and I'm probably going to refactor this a little bit to kind of integrate it more seamlessly. Eventually I'll probably make this internally in this thread state. It will maintain it'll probably do something like double buffering basically. So when you try to write out output, then it will it'll first write it into this buffer, which will be just like a matrix of like remembering what's on the screen, and then if it's actually changed, then it'll kind of intelligently calculate what areas on the screen have changed, and then it'll only update those areas. So that should hopefully that should bring it down to like the minimal number of writes that need to happen on the UI. And I'll probably add another thing to while I do that, which is the background colors. So that was a feature I thought about that would be really good for like if you walk over caves, so you can actually see kind of something, get some indication on the shading and the background to know what's in the other layer. We got our first chatter. Mono Astro says, "Hello, Mr. Elder Software. How's it going?" Yeah, so this is pretty much the same, except for I've started by just making it so that it can take a new type of work item. And so anytime when I would do system.out.println, that's going to get fed to this thread. So all of the console writing is going to be offloaded to this. And right now, this is not it's not the smartest way to do it, but it's just one baby step in refactoring this whole thing. And while it's in this state, it should still continue to work. So that's what I'll be testing tonight. Tesla Explorer says, "Howdy. How's it going, Tesla Explorer?" Yeah, and I can probably also address another issue here, which is if there's so many new writes that occur to the screen, like if there's a lot of pending writes, then I can basically write those to the buffer without actually doing a print to the screen. And then if the thread starts lagging, it can notice that, and I can have some kind of threshold to say like there has to be at least one screen update every 100 milliseconds or something, or maybe like every 30 milliseconds. And then between that, there could be actually like a number of updates that get sent to the screen, and it doesn't have to like redraw them all if it's starting to lag. So that is the change to the console writer thread state class. And then the other change was and also deleted a few other random printf print statements that I had throughout the code. So the only system.out.println is in that one class. So I just replace those with basically this hook function that queues up a work item for the console writer thread. And I was actually kind of surprised. I thought this might be a lot more slow than it is, but it's not too bad, at least on the fast computer. Why do you choose Java over C or C++? I think an application like this, really, C or C++, I think is not a good language unless you have to write something in C or C++. Actually, there were a couple things in this application that I have to do in C and C++. That is the here we go. C. So there's Java and C++, and that is the the J and I interface stuff. So in here, to detect the signal window change event, there's like a deprecated one, but there's no native way in Java to detect this event because it's like an operating system event, and the purpose of Java is it's like a portable language that you can it's write once, run everywhere, and so in anything that's operating system dependent, it's going to have to be in C or C++, and so that's why I had to set up this whole JNI interface thing just to do that one feature. And over time there'll probably be other operating system features that I'll want to hook into. But I'd say that one of the main reasons is like inevitably you're going to start doing like string manipulations, and you're going to start printing stuff, and I think using C and C++ is and even like maintaining data structures, I think it just does not make sense. Like I have a necessity to maintain like lots of maps and maps of information arrays and stuff like that, and I've written enough C and C++ to know that I absolutely do not want to be manipulating and creating data structures from scratch in C++, especially for something that has so much of that, just because there's the chance for all kinds of memory bugs and stuff is way too high. It would be a nightmare. But with Java, I can completely eliminate all that. Yeah, so those are the major changes. So this function here, and then these used to be just system.out. I was just directly printing them in here, but now I offload all those prints to a separate thread. And the eventual goal will be, I think this viewport thread. What I'm going to do is I'm probably going to set it up so that every kind of UI element that runs in a frame is going to be in a separate thread. So the game area will have its own thread for sending updates, and then there'll be a separate thread, for example, for the inventory space. And then the whole point of this was to add a help menu. So the help menu itself will also have its own dedicated thread, and all those dedicated threads will send the update messages to that console writer thread, and the console writer thread will have some intelligence to know where exactly on the screen, so that basically the individual panes don't have to know where they are on the screen to print stuff. So it's almost like a window managing system. Is that why you stuck to VI2? No extra stuff to worry about. I keep thinking I should really get with the times and use something better for Java development, because I know pretty much nobody uses Vim for Java development. There was an IDE someone suggested. I tested it out. It didn't seem too bad, but I guess I've gotten so used to using Vim that I don't know. I found a workflow that works reasonably well for me. I would kind of like I need to find some kind of like a language server or something that can work well with Vim, or there's definitely problems with my workflow, but for now it kind of works. And I guess to answer your question, yes, I do prefer to just kind of use the minimal thing that works everywhere. In fact, actually, right now I'm looking at this code on a separate computer, so this laptop is actually quite slow, so I actually just SSH'd into another desktop server here, so that's where I'm playing the game from, so it's actually fast. But if I want to go and look at the code, the development process and everything is identical, because I don't have to worry about setting up the IDE on the other machine. I just type VI. And Vim is my recommendation if you want the LSP support, if you want to stick with VI controls. Yeah, I have heard of that and mentioned a few times, but it's I guess just it's one more thing that I have to look into. I'm not saying no, but I'll just put it on the to-do list. So many things on the to-do list. But yeah, so that is I guess the code changes today are not too much. I just kind of started working on this today, and I guess I'll probably do a little bit of refactoring, before each stream to show some kind of progress. So let's run the game a bit. So yeah, I guess the other update is I released a new video today, and I also that's a new long form video on Silicon, and then I also I published, or it's scheduled to publish is my next shorts video. So I'm starting to get caught up on videos. If any of you seen my video on Silicon that came out today? Sure did. Excellent. Yeah, it's not performing well, but I guess pretty much all of the Silicon videos don't do as well, which makes sense because the most of my audience is built from the Linux stuff. But then again, I guess one of the main reasons I did it is because my main video, like most of my stuff is about Linux, but then my real blow up video was the how to make a CPU one, which is about semiconductors. So I figured maybe I should make some more semiconductor videos, because I do have a few other semiconductor videos, and I noticed they're starting to trend up a bit now. So maybe that's the right approach with to reach a general audience. Or I guess it's trending now. YouTube served it, but I was busy. Yeah, I guess that's a common thing. It's interesting how you still, even if people don't watch your video, it's still like people will like remember that a video showed up in the recommended and they didn't even watch it. So you're still getting like some brand impressioning. didn't pop up in recommendation, but the thumbnail on what is GNU Core Utils wasn't very legible. You already have a great established brand styling from the shorts. Yeah, on the what is GNU Core Utils in Linux? I assume you mean like the sign that I was holding. Yeah, it is kind of small, but I kind of I assume that people will like the progression into the rabbit hole will be people will find the shorts and then they watch like 2 or 3 of the shorts, and so like, and then they remember the the colored sign in the dark, and then after that, then they see a recommendation of the what is core utils, and then from that, my assumption is that they would recommend that because there's not a lot of videos on YouTube that actually look like that, so I figured that would generate a high conversion. It would have a high conversion rate if you had already watched the other ones. But we'll see. It's not a, and I assume it might also get a bit of search traffic, but it's also not really it's one of those things that it's not, not many people are like tripping over themselves to learn all of core utils. Like it's a kind of an obscure concept, but it's still like, there's some core market demand to know about the core utility commands in Linux, and there always will be. So we'll see what it does in 10 years from now. So this is not crashing yet. That's good. I feel like the cross-pollination between shorts and long format on YT is mostly organic. Some people seem to have 2 different audiences, normal and shorts. Yeah, I probably have something similar because because a lot of my long form content is very different from the shorts. I would like to produce more. I was thinking about like just taking some of the footage I have with the silicon and then making some shorts out of that, but it's it all takes time, and I have like a backlog of long form that I want to do. I mean, there's no shortage of content that I could create, but it's all a question of like which is worth wasting time on. Most of the videos still don't, like, the average video doesn't really make that much, but then what I keep looking at is that over the long term, like even after several years, the videos still keep making money, and the money goes up. Like I have a video about debugging printers in Linux, which is not really, it's not a high traffic video, but I think the first year it made $15, and then the second year it made $15, and then the third year it made $30. So, if it just makes $30 a year for years and years and years, it could actually be worth the time. But then again, it could also trend down to 0. So then it'll be a total waste of time. Then AI will, like, Google will use AI to like learn everything in all your videos, and then no one will ever get traffic on any videos again. It'll just be AI. Okay, so important question. What's your actual favorite Linux command? You can only choose one above everything else. Actually, I have a video on that topic. If you check out my most recent Linux video, I talk about that subject. Newtboat says, "How are you, Robert?" I'm not too bad. I got some work done today. Went for a run. Starting to feel like I'm getting caught up on work. So it's a pretty good day. Released a video. I guess my video didn't do that great, but at least it's not didn't rank that high. But it also could be it's also possible that it didn't rank. It didn't get a lot of initial views because YouTube has released a like thumbnail A/B testing thing. Like some of you have probably seen before that. I think it was Veritasium had this YouTube video about testing thumbnails and how it's like a really big deal to make sure you get the highest click-through rate. And so people after that were like, oh yeah, we've got to really start A/B testing thumbnails. And people like Mr. Beast, they did that manually, like they had a really scientific approach. But YouTube, like, and people have been asking for this for a while, but YouTube just released, or at least I just noticed it in my channel. When I upload a video, I can upload multiple thumbnails, and it does that A/B testing automatically for me. So this was the first time I tried that, and I wouldn't be surprised if that actually if it releases your video a bit slower in order to get like more data faster, or in more carefully. I just watched it. It was interesting. I just use this extension that disables clickbait titles and thumbnails, or at least tries to disable. That seems like a challenging thing for a plugin to do. I think at this point, my opinion on the clickbait is it's like it's kind of just a part of the platform, or even just like social media in general. And it's almost like no everyone understands, or everyone who's like really into social media understands that like you can't take it seriously. So in that way, it makes it a bit fun. Yeah, same with the, hey, please subscribe. Like an old thing. Yeah. Yeah, I've decided to, I don't bother saying that in my videos, because I assume it does make people subscribe, but what I assume is like I guess YouTube is a broadcast that they have that thing where they like make the subscribe button glow if you mention to subscribe. So clearly, and even without that, I'd assume there's probably some like more general signals that they're looking for, and like how good a piece of content is. And I just assume like people don't really care. Every sentence that you say that's not about the content people want is like a distraction. So I try to just fill the video up with like as much information density as possible. So like every second of it is a useful, interesting second. And I assume that the user is constantly looking for an excuse to just close the video or browse away. Yeah, it's all about supply and demand. Like if ever there's so much good content out there now. Like, I'm always discovering these channels, like new channels that have really good, interesting content, and I look at it and I'm like, wow, these people put, you know, hundreds or thousands of hours into this content, and it's all just free. Nice dropping. Have a great rest of your stream. Thanks for stopping by. Woo? What makes you say woo? Because it's awesome? What's awesome? Mining? Yeah, mining is pretty awesome. Honestly, it's kind of like, it's like one of the basic, like primordial, like human industrial activities. I think this mining is like a pretty, it's like a pretty fundamental feature of a lot of games. So I think it's it was good. It was a good place to start. Underestimated in the digital world. No one's seen it coming. I don't know if no one's seen it coming. There are quite a few games that involve mining in some component. Is that a power up? That gives me iron ore. So the game, this is a game I'm developing, so it's pretty it's pretty rudimentary. There's not you can use, so that you can craft in the game by pressing C, but it's so right now it's consuming my wooden blocks, and it's giving me there's no way to change the crafting recipe. So if I have enough reagents available, it'll use iron oxide to make metallic iron, and then an iron pickaxe. So the way I have it made right now is the iron pickaxe mines out to a really large radius. So I guess then you could call it a power up. Makes you mine out further. The game is not the only real game mechanics are just mining out a bit further, and then of course it's not really balanced, because it's very, you don't really progress very much. You kind of just get to a point where you end up consuming all your reagents, and then you need to go out and mine some more wood. What if you could enter windows that flipped an overhead view into a sign, cut into the land. Could be timed instances if you ever introduce unique rewards into the game. Do you mean like right now it's basically an overhead view, so it's like you're kind of walking around one slice of the map? You can go down and up, so it's actually a three-dimensional world. So when I press spacebar, it goes up a level, but the terrain generation is not very smart. So well, I guess it's kind of connected, but so that structure there is kind of connected, but and then I can also go down below zero to go into caves, but they're like I said, the terrain generation is pretty bad. Oh, here we go. Here's a cave, and -1, and then if I keep going down, I'm at -8 now. You already have it? Yep. It's I mean, it's a very, very basic implementation. The noise function in the terrain is not it's not very good. Like this, the caves are all kind of like circular shapes like this that are not very good. I probably will and the terrain generation is also pretty slow, so I'm probably going to look into maybe switching it to use I made my own noise generation function, but I'll probably look into switching it to Perlin noise. I'm looking for some ore pockets down here, but there's none. I found the risk statement on your Kickstarter. I'm using and accurate. Yeah, I mean that's you gotta. I think having an accurate and realistic risk statement is helps to convert people. If you know that the person in charge of the project has realistic expectations and goals, then you're more likely to back it. There's no ores anywhere. Well, I think this session is also a good test of the database scalability, because I've generated quite a bit of terrain. I was having a lot of trouble when I was just playing this locally, because this laptop I'm playing on right now is not very fast, but looks like it's pretty decent on the other machine, even with a lot of the map generated. Looks like it actually is starting to slow down a little bit now. It's not quite as fast as it was when I first started. So it looks like I may have some scaling issues still to resolve. Well, I guess that's on terrain generation. It seems like it's loading fast. It's not generating the terrain as fast. That's, I guess, not too bad. Yeah, it's able to load before I can even get to it, so that's good. I guess maybe it's database writes are slowing down. Oh, nice. There's a big ore vein. think I accomplished what I wanted to tonight. I wanted to test out that the new UI changes did not break anything. And I guess I think I tested the database pretty good tonight. I generated quite a bit of terrain and nothing crashed. So I think I'll probably call it a night. So next stream I'll be at the usual time on whenever I get my computer set up on Saturday. So see you guys then.